Hello crochet beauties and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so that you do not miss out on the new tutorials that are about to come up. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to make this crochet summer cardigan made from a very simple stitch. I am making a size small in this tutorial, but if you are in another larger size or a smaller size, be sure to find the free written pattern available in the description box below. If you would like the paid version, be sure to find that down there as well. As for the materials used in this tutorial, they're all linked down below. Be sure to subscribe if you already haven't, and without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Grabbing your 5.5mm crochet hook and the DK weight yarn, we're going to begin by making a slip knot. So this pattern uses multiples of 4 plus 6. So you're going to chain multiples of 4, and then you're going to add 6 at the end. So I've just chained 12, and I'm going to add 6 at the end. But of course you're going to be chaining more than this. I'm just showing you so that you see how the pattern works. So you're going to find the 7th chain from the hook, and then into the back bump of that you're going to place 3 double crochets in that 7th chain. Then you chain 1 and you skip 3 chains. Into the 4th you will place 3 double crochets. You will chain 1, skip 3 chains. Into the 4th you will place 3 double crochets, and you will go on, you will continue doing this for the entire length of the chain. So for the beginning, for size small, which is what I'm making in this tutorial, I chained 206. This is making comprising of both the front and the back panel, so there's 100 in the front and 100 in the back plus 6 to begin the chain. So pause the video and go on doing this for the rest of the chain, and at the end you should be left with 3 chains, and I'll meet you right back so that I can show you how we finish that. So into that 3rd chain, or the last chain, we're just going to go still in the back bump and just place 1 double crochet. So this is so far what it's looking like. To begin row 2, you chain 3, and the chain 3 will count as your first double crochet. Now into that chain 1 space we're going to go in with 2 more double crochets, just like that. Chain 1, skip this cluster, and into that chain 1 space we'll place 3 double crochets. Chain 1, skip this cluster, and 3 double crochets right in there. Chain 1, skip this cluster, and now you should be, well, obviously you've got a long chain to go, so you might want to pause the video just now so that I can meet you right back so that we can finish off together. So at the end of the row you should be left with where you began, where we started the work. So we're going to place 2 double crochets into that foundation chain, and then you're just going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the 5th you're just going to place your last double crochet in there so that the edges are nice and straight. And that's it. So I'm gonna lay it down and show you. Each time you reach this side, you're gonna be chaining 4 to begin the row, and that's gonna make sense in about a second. and each time you reach this side you're going to be chaining 3, and that's also going to make sense very soon. So we're going to chain 4 and turn. We're going to skip this first cluster and right into that chain 1 space we're going to go in with our 3 double crochets. Chain 1 into that chain 1 space, go in with 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and now on top of that chain 3, on top of that last double crochet, we're gonna go in with a double crochet right on top of that, and then we'll chain 3, turn, and remember this chain 3 acts like our first double crochet, so we're just gonna place 2 more right in there. Chain 1, chain 1, chain 1, and into that last spot when you get there, that is, you're gonna go do just as we did the previous row, place 2 double crochets, and then since we chained 4, you're gonna find the third, 1 2 3, third chain from the bottom, and place your very last double crochet into there and chain 4. We chain 4 because we skipped this first cluster and we come right into there. As for the other side, we chain 3 because we begin right there at the beginning. So far this is what it's going to look like, and that's what you're going to keep doing, going back and forth until you have done the number of rows that's required for your size, or until until you like the thickness of your cardigan, or of your front and back panel. Let me just grab mine and show you what it looks like. So far this is what mine is looking like. I've done 22 rows. I'm on my last row, so this is what it's looking like. I'm just gonna finish off the row and then we're gonna separate the back and the front. We're gonna fold it in half, just as I have done right here. Let me see if I can move my camera up. So we're gonna fold it in half like this, because one side is the front and one side is the back, and then we're gonna count up a few stitches, and around here is where we're gonna start working our sleeve. So I'm just assuming that this is where our sleeve is going to be, and we're now going to work this way onwards until we have the length that we want of our sleeve. And then when we close, we're just going to sew the sides together. I've already got one piece that I've already done, so let me just grab that and show you, since it's going to be so much easier. So after the 22 rows, I decided this is where I would like my sleeve to be, and this is how wide I want my sleeve to be. So I started doing the very same thing, going back and forth with the same stitch until I got the length of my sleeve. After, just going to chain 1 and cut, and when we've done both sides, because we're working the left and the right panel in 2 pieces, we're going to close it like so, and then we'll seam this side like this and coming downwards. We won't go all the way, we're going to leave a little bit open for a little slits on both sides, because I think that's cute. And we're going to do that for the other side, and then we're going to bring the panels in the middle. We're going to connect them in the middle and just seam the center. I also won't go all the way to the bottom. I'm going to leave a bit of a slit for the back, just because I think it's cute. It is slightly long, so if you want yours to be slightly shorter, remember it's all in the foundation chain. But reaching this far, I'm sure you've already determined how long you want your cardigan to be. So I'm just gonna finish off that last row on the other panel, and then I'll meet you back so that I can show you how we're gonna separate the armholes. So now I'm done working the number of rows that I require for my size, and now I'm gonna count 34 stitches, or stitches and chain one spaces, 37 I mean, to mark where I want the beginning of my arm to be, and I'm gonna count 37 for the other side as well. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37. So into that last double crochet I'll place my stitch marker, and then I'll do the very same thing for the other side. Remember, you will not you won't fasten off that yarn, you're going to keep it there. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 37. And then into that last double crochet I will place my stitch marker. So now this means that between these two spaces our sleeve will be going this way up. So what you're going to do now, you're just going to chain one and turn your work, and then you will single crochet all the way to the first stitch marker into every stitch. When you reach the chain one space, you're just going to place one single crochet into that chain one space, and single crochet 3 single crochets on top of every double crochet, 1 single crochet, and then chain one space, and just like that all the way up until your first stitch marker. After we've reached that first stitch marker, we're gonna get back onto the pattern, and I will show you how once I get there. So you go on single crochet all the way up to your first stitch marker, and I'll meet you there. So I've arrived at the stitch marker, and now we're just gonna do chain of 3, and into that chain one space we're gonna go in with 2 double crochets. Chain 1, skip that cluster, and place 3 double crochets in that next one right there. Chain 1, skip that cluster, and 3 double crochets in there. Just like that. And you will go on doing this all the way until that stitch marker, but before you reach it I will meet you right back so that I can show you how we will end the row. So here I am at the last place. I've placed 3 double crochets in there, and then I will do a chain of 4 and turn my work. I'm gonna skip that first cluster and go into that chain 1 space with my first set. Chain 1 and go on as normal. So from here on, it's what we've been doing for the entire cardigan. So you go on doing this back and forth until you have the required number for the size that you are making. So after you're done working your sleeve, you're gonna lay both panels like so on top of each other like that, and then you're gonna find the very top and put a stitch marker, because now we're gonna be sewing these two pieces together. And I'm just using the same crochet hook to place single crochets into every stitch going down. However, for the bottom part, I am counting up 13 chain ones and clusters. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Just gonna place a stitch marker in there. Then I'll do the very same thing for this side. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, because this is the part I'm also leaving open. And as you're sewing the sides, these sides closed, I have also done the very same thing. I've left 13 stitches down here to give me this little slit, and I've done the very same thing for the other side. So now I'm just gonna grab my yarn, make a slip knot just like that, locate the stitch marker where the stitch marker is, insert my hook and pull up the loop, and then I'm going to be going into every stitch with single crochets. If you do not like this method and you prefer to just use a yarn needle and sew this part closed, feel free to do the same thing. So I'm going to go on and finish this off camera. And I'll meet you once I reach that stitch marker we left down there. So I have reached where we began the row, where we had the stitch marker. Just going to do a chain of 1, grab your scissors, and cut that off. And remove that stitch marker. So far this is what it's going to look like, but don't worry, it will not show. So if you turn both ways, it shows just a bit, just like the other side, because we will be turning our work inside out like this. But personally, this does not bother me. So if the single crochets is bothering you, or you don't like how it looks, then you can feel free to use a yarn needle. So this is where you want to weave in the ends, turn your work the other way around, and just like that, you've got your crochet sweater, cardigan, summer cardigan, all done. I hope you loved this tutorial, because I did, and I hope you're going to share this with other people. Be sure to give it a big thumbs up so that YouTube can push it to other people and we can grow this YouTube channel, guys. Until next time, see you in a bit.